I'm convinced at this point, there's no one that can tell me otherwise, that Grand Summoners does not hate their own original characters. I may have to censor this because I don't want to get demonetized. It's the first 15 seconds after all. And backwards, I've never seen games really do this. Usually the original characters are very strong because they're the babies. They're the ones that these directors, these writers, these artists, everybody else designed and made. And these are completely unique ideas that they just had in their brain and they're putting it into the game. But I cannot shake the fact that all of these recent releases feel so underwhelming, but not only just because of what the characters do, but say it with me, ladies and gentlemen, they're old. They are so old. Summer Celia came out about what, a year ago, 2 years ago? I'll put it up on screen now. I think it's a year ago. And we just now got her on Grand Summoners Global. I'm completely okay with there being a bit of delay between Global and JP, but what happened to like the 6-month, possibly 8-month window that we used to have for a lot of different units? It seems like now more and more characters are getting pushed onto the back burner, and the only thing that's actually getting pushed are the sale characters. I'm talking about your crossover units. These guys are always on time when they need to be because they know they make the most money. And by the way, let me just shake your hand real quick. How you doing? This was originally supposed to be a Summer Celia video, and I used her, and I couldn't help but be a bit disappointed because it made me realize that all of these GS original characters that are coming out always need more units to make them work. It's very rare whenever we get a GS original character and they can work and function on their own. Take for an example, Sword God Luan. Sword God Luan, I love this guy. He's great. Big damage, crit rate, art gauge. I just love him. The thing is that Sword God Luan needs not only a mono dark setup with Shadow, he also needs someone later on known as Natasha. And who knows when Natasha's coming out, because bring it up right now, adding OP. What is that date? Why is this taking forever? I just now realized this while I'm editing this video. Natasha is not like a random event unit. She's part of the Rabbit Platoon, which is its own little saga with this Charlotte right here. We don't even have this Charlotte on Global, bro. Oh! And Summer Celia is someone that needs Natasha as well to really function. Because during this entire showcase video, while I was recording with Shinobu, by the way, shout out to Shinobu, we were doing a few different things from Novas to Dream Gilliam. It was a bunch of stuff. And to say the least, we kind of struggled on a lot of these because we didn't really have a damage mitigation character. I know some of you may be like, oh, why don't you just use Albedo? She's a dark unit, she can give DR. Well, Albedo's DR is not really that good if you're not a demon unit. So we wound up using characters like Beta. But the problem still stands is that the overall theme of what Summer Celia wants to be on is a mono dark team. Not to mention, there's so much support for her on mono dark. If we had it on Global, and she would actually look pretty impressive. I will say the healing from her is very strong. I was kind of surprised because there was sometimes during fight where we could just sustain for days because of the amount of healing she was doing. But I still want to say that this character just feels weak. It feels weak. Do you guys remember whenever Summer Rosetta and Summer Rivi finally got added to Grand Summoners Global? How many people were excited for Summer Rosetta finally coming out? But guess what? If you already tasted the power of this fucking guy, which sounds a little, maybe pause on that. Why in the world would you get hype for Summer Rosetta? Because you already got someone that technically is doing her job a bit better. It's just insane to me that this is the timeline we're living in, where GS original characters are getting so pushed back. And I feel like for a while there, kind of in the beginning of the Ascended era, I would say kind of towards the tail end of the Awoken era, we had like a good thing going, where we were getting a mix of GS original characters, plus we were getting a mix of crossover characters, especially in the beginning of the Ascended era, because the only Ascended units for a bit there until, Overlord came out, was GS original characters. One thing you guys may have noticed is that it felt like it took a bit of time before we got to the point where we are now, where we have hundreds of Ascended units now in the game. Also, that is not an exaggeration. There are literally over 100 Ascended units in the game. I don't think that's a bad thing by any means. It's more so the diversity of characters. By diversity, I don't mean like what they do and stuff. The GS to crossover character ratio is insane. insane. Which, duh, it makes sense because most crossovers add 4 units compared to GS. Whenever they release a character, they usually only add 1, at most 2 at a single time. You can actually see this perfectly on the Grand Summoners database that everything past Shala is a crossover unit. Who made this design decision at GS? And look, I can't hate the hustle, I truly can't, because in reality, they may eventually run out of characters to make for GS. It takes time, and I know creativity and ideas don't come instantly, so whenever they're in a bit of a slump, the artists, the writers, whoever it might be, Yama P, he doesn't really know what next to make, why not just get a crossover? If they know they can get it because they are with Good Smile Company, why not do that and then just make life easy on them because they know for a fact it's gonna bang. Crossovers sell in GS. Crossovers is the whole reason why GS is even at the point it is. If we never got a crossover in GS and it was just the original units, GS would definitely be a lot smaller. We wouldn't have like as many players, we wouldn't even be as well known. The main point of all this though is just your boy's upset. I truly am. I'm upset that the GS units are just not getting any love. This is a thing that only I feel. You guys let me know down in the comment section if I'm, am I one guying it right now? Or do you guys feel the same way? Where it's so hard to get extremely hype or even like somewhat anticipate an original GS character because by the time Global gets it, there's someone else already out in JP, or we already got someone that does something similar from a crossover in Global, so now that character loses all of its value, all of its sparkle, all of its luster. Hopefully in this live stream that's going to be happening tonight, we might see something crazy. I mean, at most we'll be seeing Saintis Platina, and she's a dope unit. I think Saintis Platina is going to be one of the best breakers in the game, but how long does that last until the next crossover comes out, which we don't know what it might be, but all we know it could be Boku no Pico. That's a joke. That's a joke. For the love of God, Yama P, please do not take us down this route. Another thing that I want to mention too, that I don't know if a lot of people has talked about or someone else has said this before, but I feel like in the Japanese version, whenever they have these original characters that release and you have these crossover characters and everything of the sort, it feels a lot healthier, a lot more of a healthy curve into all these power creep characters compared to what we have on Global. Like, Global is literally peaks and valleys compared to JP that feels a bit more, we kind of have a high, we plateau for a bit because this character may not be as broken as this one, and then it's another high, we maybe go a bit lower. It feels, I think, a lot more natural on the Japanese side than it does on Global because they get these characters as they release. They don't have to wait. Either way though, you guys let me know how you all feel about this entire topic down below in the comment section. And also, if you want to, tell me your predictions of the live stream tonight. Let me know all that type of stuff down below. Oh, if you enjoyed this video though, highly recommend check out this video popping on the screen right now. Great piece of content. Guarantee you love it. I'll meet you over there, but before you leave, don't forget to drink water.